Welcome to 7 Days Report, your reliable source of information from all major news from around the world. I'm your host, Vasilios Nikolaos Vitsilogiannis. Every weekend at 12 and 21, we bring you the latest headlines, in-depth analysis, and insightful commentary on the stories that matter most. Whether you're tuning in for a recap of the week or looking for a deeper understanding of global events, we've got you covered. Let's start with our first news. Diane Keaton, the acclaimed actress and iconic figure in Hollywood, passed away, leaving fans and the film industry mourning the loss of a beloved talent. Known for her distinctive style and profound impact on cinema, Keaton's career spanned more than 5 decades, during which she captivated audiences with her memorable performances and unique persona. Born Diane Hall in 1946, Keaton rose to fame with her unforgettable role as Annie Hall in the 1977 film of the same name, which earned her an Academy Award for Best Actress. Her portrayal not only redefined romantic comedy, but also established her as a trailblazer in Hollywood. Over the years, she starred in numerous critically acclaimed films, including The Godfather series, Reds, and Something's Gotta Give, showcasing her versatility and enduring appeal. Beyond her acting, Keaton was also known for her work as a director and writer, and for her influence on fashion with her distinctive androgynous style. Her impact extended beyond entertainment, inspiring generations of women with her independent spirit and commitment to her craft. Her death marks the end of an era, resonating deeply within the artistic community and among fans worldwide. Celebrities, filmmakers, and admirers have expressed their grief and shared tributes, remembering her kindness, talent, and the joy she brought to her roles. Diane Keaton's legacy is one of bold creativity, fierce independence, and timeless artistry. She leaves behind a rich body of work that will continue to inspire and entertain for generations to come. In the wake of this news, the world reflects on the extraordinary life and career of Diane Keaton, celebrating a woman whose contributions to film and culture were as unique and unforgettable as she was. Heavy rains caused extensive flooding across Catalonia, Spain, leaving dozens of people stranded in their vehicles as waters rapidly rose in the region. Emergency services had been dispatched to rescue trapped motorists and residents from flooded streets and highways. Local authorities reported that torrential downpours overnight led to several rivers and drainage systems overflowing, resulting in flash floods sweeping through urban and rural areas. Roads in and around Barcelona and Girona had been particularly affected, with some sections becoming impassable due to deep water. Numerous drivers were caught off guard by the sudden floods, forcing them to abandon their cars or wait for rescue teams. Some roads were completely submerged, turning into dangerous obstacles for commuters and emergency responders alike. Rescue operations were ongoing, with firefighters and civil protection units deploying boats and high-clearance vehicles to reach those trapped. Officials had advised residents to avoid non-essential travel until the waters receded and conditions improved. Schools and businesses in some flood-hit areas had announced closures for safety reasons. No fatalities have been reported so far, but several people sustained minor injuries and were treated on-site or taken to hospitals as a precaution. Authorities continue to monitor weather forecasts closely, warning that more rain could exacerbate flooding in the coming days. The regional government activated an emergency response plan and coordinated efforts with local municipalities to provide shelter, food, and assistance to affected individuals. Estimates suggested that infrastructure damage could be significant, with repairs expected to take weeks. This latest flooding incident highlights the vulnerability of Catalonia to extreme weather events, with climate experts urging long-term investment in flood defenses and improved urban planning to mitigate future risks. Residents were urged to stay informed through official channels and prioritize safety during this challenging situation. A A decisive speech delivered by President Lee highlighted the pressing need to address the escalating debt crisis faced by small businesses across the country. Speaking at the National Economic Forum, the president emphasized that the sustainability of the nation's economy hinges on supporting small enterprises burdened with heavy financial obligations. Small businesses are the backbone of our economy, creating jobs and fostering innovation, President Lee stated. Yet countless entrepreneurs struggle under the weight of unsustainable debts that threaten their survival and the livelihoods of their families. Noting the economic challenges exacerbated by recent global uncertainties, the president called for a comprehensive restructuring framework to alleviate the financial strain on small business owners. This includes more flexible repayment terms, lower interest rates, and access to advisory support to help businesses regain stability and growth. The president also urged collaboration between financial institutions, government agencies, and industry stakeholders to create tailored solutions that reflect the diversity of small business needs. This is not merely an economic issue but a social imperative, Lee added. We must protect the enterprises that employ our people, fuel our communities, and drive our economy forward. Economic experts welcomed the president's initiative, noting that effective debt restructuring could prevent a wave of bankruptcies and preserve the vibrant small business sector vital to national prosperity. With this call to action, President Lee sets the stage for a nationwide effort to reform financial policies, aiming to empower small businesses and secure a resilient economic future. President Donald Trump announced on Wednesday that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has agreed to halt India's purchases of Russian oil, marking a significant shift in international energy dynamics. Speaking at a press event, Trump emphasized the strategic importance of this decision in enhancing global efforts to isolate Russia economically amid ongoing tensions. According to Trump, the agreement reinforces U.S.-India cooperation and reflects Modi's commitment to aligning with Western sanctions against Russia. Prime Minister Modi made a strong pledge to stop buying Russian oil, Trump stated. This will put additional pressure on Russia and help stabilize energy markets. India has historically maintained a neutral stance on the Russia-Ukraine conflict, continuing to import significant quantities of Russian crude oil due to favorable pricing and long-standing ties. However, this announcement signals a potential recalibration of India's energy policy in response to growing international pressure and evolving geopolitical alliances. Energy analysts highlight that India's move could influence other emerging economies that have relied on discounted Russian oil, thereby tightening the effectiveness of sanctions. If confirmed, this could deal a serious blow to Russia's energy revenues and reshape global oil flows, said an energy market expert. The Indian government has yet to confirm Modi's commitment publicly, and it remains unclear how quickly this shift will be implemented. Meanwhile, Russia faces mounting economic challenges as key buyers reconsider their energy sourcing. This development underscores the complex balance between economic interests and geopolitical strategy amid the ongoing conflict, highlighting India's pivotal role on the global stage. A recent national poll reveals a complex attitude among Australians toward Donald Trump and the enduring U.S.-Australia alliance. Although a significant majority expresses disapproval of the president's policies and style, they remain steadfast in supporting the strategic partnership with the United States. The survey, conducted by a leading research firm in October 2025, showed that 62% of Australians hold an unfavorable view of President Trump. Criticisms focused on his handling of international relations and domestic governance. Despite this, 78% of respondents agreed that maintaining a close alliance with the U.S. is vital for Australia's national security. Experts suggest that while Australians are wary of Trump's influence, their pragmatic stance reflects the importance they place on the alliance in maintaining regional stability amid growing tensions in the Indo-Pacific. The alliance provides Australia with economic, defense, and intelligence support, which many see as irreplaceable. Some respondents expressed frustration over the lack of viable alternatives to the U.S. alliance, citing concerns about China's rising influence and the limits of other partnerships, such as with Europe or regional neighbors. The poll indicated a desire for Australia to continue diversifying its international relationships, but without weakening its long-standing bond with the U.S. This complex sentiment highlights the challenges facing Australian foreign policy as it balances public opinion, regional dynamics, and global strategic interests in an evolving geopolitical landscape. In a dramatic escalation of tensions in the Middle East, Israel launched massive airstrikes on multiple locations in Lebanon early Friday, breaching the fragile ceasefire that had been holding since last month. The attacks targeted suspected militant bases and infrastructure affiliated with Hezbollah, the Lebanese Shiite militant group backed by Iran. According to Lebanese officials, the airstrikes struck villages and rural areas in southern Lebanon, causing significant destruction of buildings and reportedly resulting in casualties. Hospitals in the region have been overwhelmed with injured civilians and fighters alike. The Lebanese government strongly condemned the strikes, calling them a violation of Lebanon's sovereignty and the ceasefire terms brokered by international mediators. Israeli military spokespeople justified the air operations as a preemptive move against active threats from Hezbollah, which has periodically launched rocket attacks into northern Israel. They emphasized their intent to dismantle militant capabilities and safeguard Israeli civilians from cross-border attacks. The strikes came after intelligence suggested Hezbollah was mobilizing forces and weapons near the border. The United Nations and several countries have urged immediate restraint from both sides to prevent a full-blown conflict. The UN peacekeeping force in southern Lebanon called the airstrikes deeply worrisome and has increased surveillance to monitor developments. This sudden surge in violence threatens to unravel months of diplomatic efforts aimed at stabilizing the volatile Israel-Lebanon frontier and raises fears of a renewed regional war just weeks before renewed nuclear talks between Iran and world powers. Global leaders are closely watching the situation, pushing for dialogue and warning that continued shelling could have grave humanitarian and geopolitical consequences. That is for now. Thank you for listening to 7 Days Report, your reliable source of information from all major news from around the world. I'm your host, Vasilios Nikolaos Vitsilogiannis. Every weekend at 12 and 21, we bring you the latest headlines, in-depth analysis, and insightful commentary on the stories that matter most. Goodbye.